Hello everyone and welcome to another video back in The Sims 4, and as you can see by the title of this video, beware of the werewolves. So that's a bit of a clue as to what we're building, and I guess there's no surprise this video is timed quite nicely for the new werewolves pack. I actually downloaded this pack this week. It's the new expansion pack, well not expansion pack but game pack for The Sims 4. I downloaded it this week with the intention to actually build this warehouse on it. So interesting story, basically this build that I'm doing today on the video, I've basically done a very similar build before, like a couple of weeks ago, and when I'd done that build a couple of weeks ago I had no idea they were planning on doing like a werewolves pack. So I was just building the game for fun. It's on the gallery, you can go check it out, my gallery's in the description below. It's just another abandoned warehouse, but basically I built that not realising they were doing a warehouse pack, and then when I saw the warehouse pack come out I was like, I want to build that factory again, but I want to do it better and I want to use the warehouse objects, because I feel like the one that comes in the game is really cool. The lot that comes with werewolves, the build that comes with werewolves that's on this lot is really cool. It's like an outdoor bar area and then you've got like a hidden werewolf space. But the way I play Sims, I tend to prefer my Sims to play inside, especially when they're in like a bar. So this is why I rebuilt the lot, but the builder that built it, James Turney, did a good job of all the builds in this world. I just wanted to build my own really, and see how I could do it. And obviously, like, bear in mind as well, when James Turner was doing it, he was limited to just the base game and the werewolves pack, and he couldn't use any cheats and he couldn't use alt. So I'm not applying any rules to this build. I'm just building it because I wanted to enjoy building with the new pack really. In terms of the new pack, I haven't really had much experience with the gameplay, but the build mode is good. The build objects are good. It's definitely a pack worth getting if you like doing like grungy builds or like abandoned builds. If you do like more modern builds or like clean builds, then the objects in it probably aren't going to really benefit you in any way. So probably steer clear of it if that's why you're going to buy it, if you're just buying it for the build. In terms of the gameplay, one thing I will say about this pack so far with the gameplay is it's not really that buggy, which is a good thing, because the previous packs that have come out, the gameplay has been really quite buggy, which has kind of been a shame, because it would be nice. Like for me, I don't have a problem if a pack is delayed by like 2-3 weeks just to get the gameplay right and make sure there's no glitches or bugs, but obviously the Sims team don't see it that way. So a lot of the packs recently that have come out, they've been a bit broken on launch, and it's nice to have a refresh where this one isn't, and it kind of it gives me hope back for The Sims 5, that maybe The Sims 5, they will actually give it some proper testing, and that they will not give us a half-baked game essentially at launch, and that it'll be perfect. Well, it won't be perfect, nothing's perfect, but hopefully it'll get a better reception hopefully than The Sims 4. But I can only dream. Obviously we don't know anything about The Sims 5 yet, so that's only what we'll see. But yeah, as you can see, we're just building the build at the minute. A couple of interesting things. I really wanted to include that abandoned bus in the build, because that is like an iconic object of this pack. There's not really any object like it in the game, like a surround for the bar, and I thought it was a really cool idea. But obviously, like, the object's supposed to go outside, but I wanted to build an indoor factory. But the way I built the factory, the way I designed it, I hadn't designed it for a bus to be able to be like driven into the factory. Like there's no doorway or like opening for the bus to get through. So I knocked a hole in the wall, so it looks like the werewolves have probably just driven the bus through the corner of the factory and just parked it in the middle of the factory, which is really cool. But then it gets even better, because I was browsing the debug menu with the new show live edit objects. So if you do the show live edit objects cheat, you'll see the new objects in the pack that you can't get unless you do that cheat. And there's actually like a digger, so I actually put the digger poking through the bit of wall that's been broken out, so it looks like they've actually dragged the bus there with the digger, which I thought was so cool. And it just made it really completed the lot, and I was really happy with it. And another thing that I really like about this pack is those windows that you can see I'm placing now. You can see like the glass is like, it's just a frame. I think that's such a cool look, especially for like an abandoned build. It just really adds to like the immersion that this place has just been left to ruin. In terms of the backstory of this lot, I don't really have like much of a backstory really. Essentially it's like two separate factories that over the years they've joined together. Probably like, I kind of designed the building on the right, which I'm building at the moment. That's designed as kind of like a lumberjacks. So it's painted red. I don't know, it just looks kind of like a woodworking factory. But then the one on the left looks more like a fabrication plant, so you can kind of put the two together however you want. And another cool thing you'll see about the factory on the left, the one that we're looking at now, I could actually place the fire pit in, and it's fully usable because basically where that fire pit is, it's not actually a room. Although there's walls, it's not actually built as a room. And if you and basically it's the fire pit's in one of the chimneys, so when you zoom out from the lot, you'll see these two chimney stacks, and the fire pit is just at the base of one of them. So it's fully open to the outdoors, but it looks like it's part of the factory, and I just thought it was a really unique way of doing it, and I haven't seen it done before in The Sims, so I thought it was a cool way to incorporate that other new object, which is that new fire pit. But yeah, just add in some of the metalwork. So the building on the left, the metalwork stays blue, but the building on the right that we're doing now, the metalwork actually changes to red, just to kind of distinguish them a little bit more. But also the building that we're building right now on the right, that's only for werewolves. So the werewolf doors are on that building, whereas the building on the left, any sim can access. There isn't a great deal to do in the building on the right. It's basically just a gym. There's like a kitchenette, and then there's a couple of beds. Because I didn't really want Sims to use this building on the right, it's kind of more just there for show. But it is there if you are a vampire and you can use it. But the most of the stuff that's going on is going to happen in the building on the left. So that's where kind of like the nightclub area is, etc. And I don't show it in the video, but there is a basement in this lot. And it's basically just a sewer tunnel with an entrance point to the sewage of the rest of the world. So there's like an object that comes in this game, in this pack, where you can access the sewage system through almost like a wormhole door. It's alright, like, I just wanted to include it, so I put it, I put a basement in. And you won't really see any footage of the basement being created, but there is holes in the factory floor where the floor's basically caved in, and then you can see through the holes into like the sewage network. I thought that was quite a unique way to kind of put the two areas together. But again, the sewage network, you can't access it unless you are a werewolf. Because I just thought that was the best way to do it, really. But yeah, as you can see, just building more of this lot. It was a lot of fun actually building these. I like building factories in The Sims. It's gotten really good. Like with the new packs and stuff, you can actually build some really like convincing factory locations. I'm not sure how easy it would be to build an actual like modern looking factory. I mean, you could probably do it, and I am quite keen to kind of do two versions of this lot. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see a version of this lot where I've actually renovated it. I've made it like a clean factory. I'll still keep it a nightclub, so it's a conversion, but it's just not abandoned, so it's actually a nice factory. I think it could be quite cool to do, especially if you watch this video first. You'll kind of get an idea of the story, so that when I renovate the factory, you'll kind of be like, ah, okay, so it's a historic building being renovated. Because sometimes like I do a renovation build, but I don't have any like footage or any backstory of what was previously there. It's just a house that I've built to look like it's been a house that's renovated. But it's quite cool to have like both sides of the story, if you get what I mean. But yeah, going back to talking about the comments. In the last video, well, not the last video, but the video before, the Las Vegas mansion. That video is a stop motion build, and obviously if you've been watching this for the last like 5-10 minutes, you'll notice that this isn't a stop motion build. This is actually just a normal speed build. And basically the reason I've not done a stop motion build yet is because on that last Las Vegas stop motion build that I've done, I got a comment asking me to build a modern family beach house with like themed bedrooms, just like loads of like, I think it was like 5 bedrooms and just like themed kids bedrooms, because that was one of the comments I was getting, is that the bedrooms in my houses, they're not themed. And I've got a reason why they're not themed. It's because when you download the lot, you can theme it how you want, which I think is fair. But because people are actually asking for themed bedrooms, then the house that it's already built, it's on the gallery, so check out the link in the description. Make sure you follow me on the gallery because you get early access to all my builds, because I always upload the build before I post the video. So definitely go check out the gallery if you want early access to my build. But yeah, getting back to the story. So I had a request to build a modern beach house with like themed bedrooms. So I built that. It's all built, all done. But I'm just working on the video now because it's going to be another stop motion video. But obviously a stop motion video, it can take me like almost like 100 hours to make. Whereas a simple speed build like this, probably 2.5 hours for building the lot, maybe 3 hours, then probably an hour and a half for the video edit, and then 20 minutes for the voiceover, and then throw in like another half an hour here and there for other bits. So probably about 5.5-6 hours for like a regular speed build. So obviously, from my point of view, doing a speed build, it's quicker for me to get videos out there. and it just means that I can upload more regularly. But my kind of plan going forwards is I want to at least do 1 video a month. But I'm going to try and do like 2 or 3. So there'll always be a speed build each month. But I also want to do a stop motion build each month. And then I also, if I've got time, I'll do like a second speed build. Which I think is just that's kind of like the schedule I want on the channel. I'm not going to allocate any days for those builds just because I am really busy outside of playing The Sims. Like I do work full time, and work at the moment it's got really busy because I've just been moved over to a new category. So I'm still an assistant buyer at the same company, but I've just moved to a new category. So I'm just learning all the new systems, and you know what happens when you change roles? You get a bit stuck in and you end up working a bit over when you normally should. I don't really mind at the moment because it's very short-staffed, so I'm doing quite a lot, and it's pretty good for my development as well because I've done a lot in the last few weeks that I wouldn't have been able to do at work had I not been in the same situation. But it is nice just to finish work, you know, stick The Sims on, build a new lot, make a new video. I do enjoy doing it, and it's definitely not something I ever see myself stopping doing really, unless I don't know, at least not for now anyway. But yeah, just going back to the build, as you can see I'm stacking some pallets up here. If you ever go to a factory or a manufacturing plant, 90% of the stuff is smaller stuff anyway, it's probably delivered on some kind of pallet. So I put those wooden pallets out the front. This makes it a bit more authentic. And then as you can see, just decorating inside the factory as well. You can see the grass going through the floor. I was going to put like these dangly lights that came, I call them dangly lights, what are they called? It's like bunting with light bulbs. I actually can't remember the name of it. Light strips? Hanging lights? I don't know. But you saw the ones where it's like the cable with the bulbs underneath. They came with the cottage living pack, and wanted to put them in the build, but they didn't really work, and I didn't want this place to look kind of like they just put a lot of effort into it. I just wanted it to look like a kind of almost like a warehouse rave, which I think it gives that vibe off quite well. You know, as you can see, just building like this like broken fence around the back, where obviously like the werewolves will come in. They do not care at all about the state in which they leave anything in this property. They just come in, they're very reckless, and yeah, they're just going to destroy everything. As long as they're having fun, that's all they care about in my view. Which is the way they live pretty much. Another annoying thing that actually happened in this lot, I placed the terrain paints, and the glitch happened where the terrain paints deleted when I exited the building, came back. Bit frustrating, but it happens. Got around it anyway. But as you can see here, we're actually building the in front of the windows on the main factory. I put like these wooden fences, but they look like they're boarded up windows. I skipped most of them because it's quite repetitive just to watch me doing it. But I feel like it gives it a really cool look because it is an abandoned factory, so the windows should be boarded up, right? But I've kind of made it look like they started boarding up the windows, but they didn't quite finish it. So I've left like pile of wood around some of like the windows. So like it's kind of like they left in haste, I guess. They left in a rush. So they started boarding it up, and then like the werewolves were there already. Like they were kicking everyone out. They were like, "This is our factory now. You haven't paid your bills. Get out of my way. We run this town, essentially, the werewolves." So I kind of, yeah, that's the vibe I want to give you. I think in terms of like, if there's anything I dislike about this build, it's not necessarily that I dislike it, but it was really difficult to find out where to place the toilets, because I wanted the toilets to be close to the bar where the Sims are going to be. But there was nowhere in like that main warehouse building where I could kind of make space for the toilets. So I ended up putting them right at the front near the entrance on either side, and it doesn't look too bad, and like you wouldn't notice that they weren't supposed to be there, if that makes sense. So like they always look like the toilets belong there. Yeah, but yeah, just adding some more kind of detail to the outside. Again, like I do quite a lot of the build at night just because me personally, like if I'm playing the game, I'm gonna play the game at night in this kind of lot because it's a bar nightclub. That's when your Sims pretty much are gonna travel here. And you'll see that I'm just placing these lights as well. They look over the dance floor. And with the Star Wars pack, the Batu pack even, it comes with like this really cool like cable. So I use that cable to make it look like the lights are actually plugged in. I just thought, again, it gave it more of that like realistic look, and it makes you more immersed with kind of the whole story. And obviously the cables aren't organised, they're just slapped anywhere. And it's almost like they're here temporary, so everything is just designed to be taken out as quickly as possible. Like you've got the camping chairs, Obviously, you got some actual furniture as well, because there probably originally, when they took over the factory, there's probably like the odd chairs lying about, a couple of bits of furniture that they could just reuse for their purpose. But in general, like any kind of new furniture that they brought in is just like the camping furniture, or like a sofa that's been dragged off out the street. You know, just that kind of stuff. Like nothing in this lot is purposefully not a very aesthetic furniture choice. But when you kind of look at it as a lot that's abandoned, the furniture makes sense and the furniture looks good the way it is, even though you wouldn't have that furniture, say, in a show home. It really fits a lot well. Same likewise with the cardboard dance floor. Obviously, in a real nightclub, you wouldn't have a dance floor made out of cardboard, but it's not a real nightclub, it's an abandoned factory. So yeah, just those little details really help kind of get that point across, especially when you're playing games. I did add the telescope in, that little telescope, which is also new with the Werewolves, but the good thing is EA actually released that telescope for the base game as well. Unfortunately though, I did play test this lot and everything works except for that telescope doesn't work. So you can either move it or delete it when you download the lot, entirely up to you, or you can just have it there as decoration. But it doesn't work, unfortunately. I thought it would work because it only works outside, and because I deleted that bit of wall, I thought maybe it will count that this room essentially as being outside, but it said no. I guess it detected there was a roof above the telescope, so that's why it was like, no, you gotta be outside. And I'd already uploaded it to the gallery at that point, so there was no point changing it back. But yeah, just one of the things to bear in mind, that you will need to move that telescope if you plan on using it. Yeah, just adding the small bathrooms in either side. I love the new cracked mirrors in the game. I've been waiting ages for a cracked mirror in The Sims, and I wish there was more options other than just a big one. I wish there was like a smaller one as well, and I wish there was like more variations of damage, so that if you put in multiple windows together, multiple mirrors together, it looks like they've all been cracked differently. And to be fair, there's like 3 or 4 different variations of the cracks, so that's not too bad, to be fair. And yeah, this is kind of like the part. This is like the werewolf only bit where like the red walls are. As you can see, this is kind of like when the factory was initially built. This is where like the staff hang out. So you've got like a changing area, you've got a shower room, toilet, and then you've got like a kitchenette. And then there is no bedrooms, because like actual bedrooms, because in a factory, like what factories have genuine bedrooms? Like I'm sure there's some factories with actual bedrooms, but there wasn't really a space to put like physical bedrooms in this lot. So what I did is the 3rd floor of this building, it's kind of just like open. So I just put a couple of beds that look like they've just been dragged up there. And it kind of makes sense for them to be there, like a bit out of the way, just so it's nice and quiet, but also like, yeah, they make sense there. They're just single beds. I was going to put a double bed, but it didn't really fit in the area that they ended up going in. And then the fridge, actually, interestingly, that bigger fridge with the open door, that's another show hidden objects. So the door and the fridge are not actually, there's 2 separate objects, and I just put them together, and it just looks like the werewolves have come in, swung open the fridge door, seen there's nothing in the fridge to eat, and just left it open. And then same with the pizza oven, like you can see the oven doors come off. Again, I called it a pizza oven, I just meant regular oven. But yeah, there's a pizza in the oven, because the oven doors come off, and like they're not going to clean it up. It's not there, they don't live there, they're just essentially just squatting at the moment. So yeah, I just left the room pretty much as like run down as I could, I guess is the word. And yeah, just add in bits of clutter in as well, because on a smaller room, the more clutter you add, the kind of almost the better it looks. But I don't like rooms that are over cluttered, because A, they clog up your game, B, like, yeah, it's mainly for like gameplay. For me, I don't find loads of clutter that aesthetic, to be honest. I mean, you might think this is already too much clutter, or you might think there's not enough. But that's the great thing about The Sims, you can download it and change it however you like. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I ended up spending quite a long time actually on these rooms up here. They're quite detailed. Again, actually, that bath that you see there, that doesn't work either. That bath is not connected to the mains, because it again is a debug object. So if you want to have a bath in this lot, you can't have a bath, there's only a shower. And the shower is to get to university shower. I thought it made the most sense because it's the cheapest looking shower in the game. And after all, it's a shower in a factory, like I don't think it's going to be particularly nice. And then I didn't know what else to put on that wall, and then I thought actually I could put like the windowless window frame there. I don't know what else to call it really. Like window frame without the window, or the window frame without the glass, whatever it is. I put it there, it fitted in quite well. It's quite funny because when you're playing the game, you can see Sims in the bathroom. You can see straight through there without any obstruction. Anyway, a bit weird if you're standing there watching, but to be fair, it's The Sims, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, and then this is kind of like the last kind of room here. This is basically like the where the kind of factory manager's office would have been. So you can see they've got boxes of stuff, loads of files, and again the werewolves are coming here and they've basically sat a game table down. You don't see me play this game table, unfortunately, but yeah, they put I put a games table in there. But yeah, that's pretty much for the end of the video. I'll leave you with like the end screenshots. But yeah, make sure if you enjoyed the video to give it a like. Comment any recommendations as well, or any build suggestions, or anything that you want to see me do next. And if you're down in the comment area, you might as well hit the subscribe button on the way down. I am trying to grow the channel. We're doing alright. Like some of the newer videos that I put out, I feel like the quality is getting a little bit better now. So yeah, thank you if you made it this far in the video. And enjoy the screenshots, and I'll see you in the next one.